Small things you should stop doing right now. Kaizen is the process of continual improvement. It means doing lots of small things that take little time or effort, so that they will eventually add up to have huge benefits over time. A simple example is saving $1 a day, so that you save $365 over the course of the year. But Kaizen isn't really the same thing as the tiny habits movement that is also popular right now. It's actually about becoming more efficient through tiny tweaks of your workflow and processes. That means it also includes things you should stop doing. Here are some tiny things that you should stop doing right now, which will have huge benefits to your happiness, health, productivity, and more. Listening? Great. Stop obsessing over negative thoughts. Find yourself replaying negative things that have happened during the day that you can do nothing about. Then just remind yourself next time to change tune and think about something else. Not only is this a waste of time, but it puts you in a negative headspace. Stop getting coffee and tea repeatedly. There's nothing wrong with tea and coffee. The problem is when you use getting tea and coffee as an excuse not to do any actual work. Keep an eye on how many trips to the kettle you're making. Stop apologizing. If you're one of those people constantly apologizing for everything, then this is the habit to cut out. Apologizing makes you appear guilty and actually makes other people feel resentful in many cases. Learn to cut this habit out. Stop getting on your phone every 2 minutes. If you get your phone out every time you go to the bathroom, every time you're in a queue, and any time you wait for your computer to load, that's something to fix. Try switching to a black and white screen, and you'll find yourself instinctively get it out less. Stop watching junk TV. It's actually not harmless. It puts you in an unproductive, uncreative headspace. Watch something stimulating and interesting, and you'll feel much better. Stop spending money on unnecessary subscriptions. If you haven't watched Netflix in the last month, then you can get rid of it. There are other ways to enjoy an evening if you're ever stuck. And the same goes for that gym membership you never use. You'll save a lot of money, and it takes 2 minutes or less. The Kaizen approach to dieting. Kaizen is the Japanese concept of improvement that preaches that we should make small, almost imperceptible changes to our routines and lifestyles if we want to see big improvements over time. The good news is that this is easy to do when it comes to losing weight. It just means looking for small opportunities to cut calories that you'll hardly notice, but which can add up to a big collective difference. In this presentation, we'll share some powerful examples. Butter. Butter is essentially just lard. That's right, pure fat that you willingly spread onto your food in order to increase moisture. Unsurprisingly, it's also not terribly good for you. So if you're searching for a way to dramatically decrease fat in your diet, you can do so by just avoiding butter, as well as margarine and everything else on your toast. After a while, you get used to eating ham on your bread dry, or having spreads instead like tuna paste. Oil. Likewise, you should keep oil away from your frying pan, and you should definitely keep oil away. While oil can prevent sticking, the reality is that if you heat the pan up slowly and use a little water, there is more than enough oil in your meat and moisture in your sauce to do this job for you. Sugar. If you can avoid adding sugar to any of your foods, whether it's a cup of tea or a bowl of fruit, then you'll find this completely changes your whole diet. Not only is that a huge amount of carbs now removed from what you eat, but it's also a great way to start getting used to blander tastes and remove your sweet tooth. Desserts in restaurants. Having meals out from time to time isn't all that bad, but the insanely indulgent desserts most places serve up are. You can avoid this occasional problem by asking for a cup of coffee or latte when everyone else has cake. You'll feel much better for it, but the coffee and the usual free chocolate will help you to avoid feeling left out or unsociable for not joining in. Soda drinks. If you drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi, then you're doing untold damage to your teeth and your weight, consuming the equivalent of 2 Cadbury's cream eggs in sugar. Don't think that sugar-free versions get a pass either. They trigger an insulin reaction that can leave you craving sugar. Avoid soda drinks altogether then, and instead drink water, milk, and fruit juice. You've been writing goals all wrong. Here's what you need to know. Writing goals is very important if you want to make yourself a success. You see, in order to be a success, you need to know what it is you want to be a success in, and you need to define that success. You can be the fastest walker in the world, but you won't get very far if you don't know where you're heading. Even just the process of writing your goals brings you one step closer to achieving them, as it makes them real and physical by putting them on paper, rather than remaining hypothetical and just dreams. But how do you go about writing these goals and making ones that you are actually likely to stick to? In this presentation, we will look at the answers to those questions. Use software. Using goal-setting software or goal-setting worksheets is a good idea to help you formulate your goals, especially if you're struggling. Goal-setting software and goal-setting worksheets are created by people who know what they're talking about and how to go about writing goals. This therefore enables you to structure your goals in a way that is essentially tried and tested. Make sure you really want them. Before you start filling out goal-setting worksheets, though, you need to know the kind of thing you want to achieve and what your chosen field is going to be. In other words, you need to decide what your passion is that you intend to follow. This is very important, as sticking to a goal requires you to be highly focused and dedicated, and that means you have to really want it. Break it down. You need to break down your big, lofty, and ambitious goals into smaller steps, and ideally, break these all the way down into things that you can do on a regular basis. So for instance, this might mean that if you want to build a better physique, your most basic level goal would be to work out at least 5 times a week for 6 months. If you stick to this basic and easy to control goal, then you should find that the overall ambition takes care of itself, and that you end up getting what it is that you want. Start simple. Accept that working out at least 5 days a week is a very hard goal, even though it might not seem that way at first. Better then is to commit to working out just twice a week for 20 minutes. This is the Kaizen approach to continual improvement, and it has been proven effective in countless scenarios. Keep them on your mind. Finally, make sure that these goals are constantly on your mind and constantly in front of you. One of the best ways to do this is to simply have them written somewhere that you'll be able to see them, or several places you'll be able to see them and where you'll encounter them regularly. Get a Post-it note and stick it to your desk.